Hi, my name is Hannah. Welcome back to my channel, Savage Reads. The first thing that I want to do today is congratulate Daphne Van de Portugal, and she won the embroidery that I made, and I sent that out this morning, and I hope that she enjoys it. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. So that is the first thing. Giveaway done. Check that off. First time I've done something like that on my channel, but I am still crafting. So let me show you what I've been working on. I am getting somewhere with the baby onesie. So I have this whole section done. So I'm just about to where I separate out for the bottom half of the onesie and then make the little straps that come up and over here and put in the buttons. So for some reason, it looks huge, but we'll see how it turns out. It's supposed to be for like 6 to 9 month old, but this might be something that is more of a toddler outfit. Maybe I could put it on my 5-year-old. I don't know. We're gonna see what happens when it's done, but that is going somewhere. Now, I have read some interesting books the past week, so let's jump into that. This first book is a recommendation from Jess at the channel Stalking Kafka, so make sure to go check out her channel. I will link it down below, and I am so glad I picked up this book. This book is called Loved and Missed by Susan Boyd. This book is following Ruth, who has a daughter who is addicted to drugs. And when her daughter has a baby, Ruth is left taking care of this baby and still trying to support her daughter. This book is such an important topic and a very difficult topic, but the way that it deals with it is so human and witty, and you really feel like you understand the difficult parts of dealing with this situation, but also the joy that she comes to by taking care of her granddaughter. And I thought that there were some real poignant moments of beauty in it, and also almost some levity and humor. And I thought this book was just a really beautiful reflection on life and the difficulties that we come into. And if you have had family members or know people who have had problems with drugs, I think this will be very relatable. These family connections and just searching for these mother-daughter bonds. It's just really powerful. I think this is just a 5-star fiction read. I highly recommend it. I thought it was just a beautiful gem of a book. I think what I got out of the book was a beautiful message about family love and how sometimes that doesn't feel enough, but it's all that we can give. And I thought it was really lovely. Now, the amazing Audrey Approved recommended the book The Last Leonardo, The Secret Lives of the World's Most Expensive Painting by Ben Lewis. So the tagline for this book is "An epic quest exposes hidden truths about Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi, the recently discovered masterpiece that sold for $450 million and might not be the real thing." And so this had moments of being really interesting. We get little bits of the history of Leonardo da Vinci and his life and his style, and I thought that was really interesting. And we get a little bit about the art history and trying to establish provenance, and that was super interesting. You get a little bit about how art sales work and how the super wealthy are using art to move around their money, and that is super interesting. I think this book had so many cool little bits in it that are very informative and fun. My only downside is I just don't think the author was great at putting this together in an interesting and cohesive sort of way. It had all those elements, but I would get bored or it would switch to something else, and soon I wasn't feeling like I got a very clear picture of everything. There was something about the structure of the book that I found at times confusing and at times just boring. So overall, this book was okay. Had great things, but I just wanted the author to, tune it up just a little bit. So I read the book Hot Springs Drive by Lindsay Hunter. This book is following 2 best friends who live near each other, and one is kind of jealous of the other, and one of them ends up dead, and everyone knows who did it, and we're trying to kind of unravel this web. Now, I hated this book. I did not like it. Number one, it might just not be for me because it had too much sex in it, and I don't like books that are just about that. I'm like, okay, that's not necessary. I don't get why we need to focus just on that one aspect. I think this book had moments of being very triggering if you have eating issues. It talks a lot about disordered eating, but probably not in the most healthy of ways. Every character in this book is kind of the worst, just despicable. I hated all of them. Even the ones I was supposed to like, I couldn't find very many redeeming qualities. It felt like a bunch of bad people doing mean things to each other, and for no real reason. And I think the book was trying to have some sort of point about the expectations that mothers have on them and how difficult it is. But at the same time, by the end, I thought that maybe some of the point of the book was supposed to be that it's not always the mother's fault for everything that their kids do, but it kind of just went back around to, yeah, it is all the mom's fault. She is the reason that all this went wrong. And I couldn't figure out why. None of it ever came to some sort of meaning. I was waiting for a feeling of forgiveness or love or something to win out. But instead, all these people were just awful to each other, and no one learned and grew and figured things out. And it's supposed to be a bit of a mystery thriller, which it is not. If you read the description of the book, that is exactly what you are going to get. You don't get more answers, and you think that you're going to get more answers and maybe something else. You never do. And some of the characters were just such caricatures of themselves. We have the creepy boy who's obsessed with his mom and stares at people out of his window. We have the jealous woman who is cheating on her husband and loses a bunch of weight. And we have the uptight son who has to do everything right to prove he's right. It just felt like no one had any sort of emotional, real depth or meaning, and I am just so mad at myself that I didn't stop this book earlier. I thought, I should stop this book. I don't really want to read any of this. This just isn't really my thing. And I thought, I'll just stop it now. But then I thought, well, I just want to figure out what's gone on with the murder, and I'm sure there's going to be some sort of twist or surprise or shocking moment, and I really would love to have some more here. And there was never anything that made it worth continuing on, and I wish I'd stopped sooner. So this is one of the worst books I've read this year. Really disliked it. Highly don't recommend. Now, Jess from Stalking Kafka also recommended the book Housekeeping by Marilyn Robinson. This is a book about two sisters growing up with kind of inconsistent care from their guardians. They have a grandmother, then some great aunts that take care of them, and then they have this Aunt Sylvie who comes to stay with them, and she has some eccentricities, and these girls are so close together. They really support each other. They have a very strong relationship, and they're seen as a little bit odd in the town, and you get the changes that they go through growing up and the different things that they want out of life and the tragedies in their family history. I think this book was kind of lovely at points, but I don't know if it's going to be something that sticks with me for super long. It was nice and it was interesting, and it had its moments of being really lovely. So I thought that it was really interesting, talked a lot about sorrow and loss, and a little bit of that difficulties of growing apart as you grow older with your sibling, and family history and genetics determining who you are. I think there were some messages in there that were very interesting. So overall, I'm glad I picked this up. I needed a break from the last one, but it's probably not the top of my list. It was all right. So that is what I have read the last week. One excellent book, one terrible book, and two that were pretty okay. So if you have any thoughts on these, let me know in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations for me, let me know. And I will see you all on the next one.